gain inspiration to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to an amazing episode today, y'all, because I'm so excited. I got two phenomenal queens in the building, and I care for them both so deeply. I first get to have the opportunity and pleasure to speak with Miss KD Hall, not only the founder of KD Hall Foundation, but also now a new King 5 talk show host, y'all. So I'm so excited to talk about her show. And, you know, it just launched last week, so I'm really excited to dive into those details. And later on in the show, my girl, Ashley McGirt, Adair, is in the building. I'm so glad that she is here. She is the founder of another foundation, the Washington Therapy Foundation, Therapy Fund Foundation. I remember that. I got it right. Both of these queens are foundation founders. You hear me? And I'm talking about Black brilliance. You know, as we have been uplifting women this month during Women's History Month, I'm excited to have both of them in the building with me right here on the Day with Trae. Of course, it is the top of the show. So first off, you get to help us grow. Go ahead and tag and share this stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on the Day with Trae. If you can't watch our TV show, we still have you covered, y'all, because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever platform is your favorite. All right. Now, up next, we got KD Hall in the building. We're going to be talking all things TV show and foundation. Y'all, I'm so excited to have her with me. Hi, Katie.
Hey, Trae, how are you? I'm so happy to be here with you this morning.
Yeah, this is a fantastic opportunity to just thank you publicly for all the work that you are doing, for stepping out on your own faith and saying, I need to start my foundation. I'm going to be intentional about it. And now this opportunity to make sure that you're talking to the folks on King 5. Congratulations. You know, I got to say, before we even get started, we got a little clip here of your actual debut show. Y'all, just take a second here and look at what KD is bringing to the people.
This talk show is going to be different. We're going to have intimate and deep conversations.
As a citizen, as a community member, I'm part of a larger body, and it's not just about me, it's about the bigger picture.
We're also going to talk to Generation Z and Generation Alpha.
To be a kid and to be able to play in a tournament hosted by Kobe was a super exciting experience.
What better way to mentor young women by involving them into this show? Portia's our high school co-host.
I want to see a bigger increase in women playing sports, and a role that I play in that is that I try to be a positive role model to the younger girls, and I try to encourage them.
It's a collision of wisdom and youth voice.
Without Title IX, we would not be in the position we are now. Gave so many young girls an opportunity that they never would have had.
I just think back to that young girl when I saw her get out on the court, and it was just a whole other person out there.
If you are trying to make other people better, if you are trying to have the best team and be the most competitive entity, you have to bring out the best in others, and you can't do that if you're not kind and you're not willing to try to lift others up.
Oh, girl, okay. Well, there we go. Tell us about all those folks that were in that first episode.
Oh, Trae, I'm so happy to be here with you today. I mean, it's always a complete blessing spending time with you. And I'm so excited about Conversations with KD Hall. It's 19 years in the making. Graduated from undergrad back in 2005, okay? And it took me 19 years to get to one of my biggest dreams. And I'm so excited. I really, really am. And I just want people to know that, too, before we get into all the cool guests that we had, because no matter how old or how young you are, if you have a dream and if it keeps buzzing in your mind, go after it. You know what I mean? If a front door closed for you, you go through the back door, or climb in through the windows, or go through the roof. And I feel like that's exactly what we did. There's been so many doors closed in my face over the last 19 years of breaking into media. And so 10 years ago, I decided to do PR, because I was like, I'm getting in one way or another. And the public relations was fun, but it was not my complete dream, right? It was time for me to step center stage. And that's the reason why I was like, you know what? 2024, I got to do it. There's nothing else to wait on. And I'm so excited that I was able to build a team around me to help me make that dream come true. And as far as our guests go, we had so many. We're covering sports, women, and mental health. And for our opening episode, our pilot, I mean, we had Sue Bird, we had Megan. I mean, some of the people that was on my dream board for over 3 to 4 years, just to sit down with them. And the crazy part about it is we weren't able to get them for like our sit down panel discussion. But the way God works is whoever you're supposed to have, they're going to show up anyway. And I got a call from the Seattle Sports Commission. They said, why don't you come and work the red carpet so you can get some of the people who you did not get to sit down with you. And when Sue and Megan walked up, I totally fangirl. I don't fangirl for anybody, okay? I fangirl for them because it was so much fun. It was great to be able to talk about some of the work we've been doing for 10 years, such as equity and pay for women. And then just like that inspiration, Sue has had a few injuries and different things like that, and always bounced back. And it was really important for my girls, our 90 Girls on the Rise in 2024, to be able to see that they can do anything that they dream. And there's so many other wonderful women, like Beth Knox from the Seattle Sports Commission. Senator Tawana Nobles was a part of it, because we wanted to make sure we brought in also like that political side of it as well. And like, what does it mean to really pass laws and pass bills? And so that was important for us as well. And then we had Kimmy Lee King, an old time friend, and she now works for Vault 89, for Doug Baldwin, and she came on board as well. We had Maya from the Seattle Sounders, and then Mari from the Kraken, as far as our panel. And you're gonna see them throughout the entire season. They're gonna have little parts throughout the entire season, because they gave me a lot of their time. And as you know, when people come and sit down with you, you wanna make sure that you're able to amplify their voices. And so you're gonna see them in all 10 episodes for season 1. And we had Rodney Stuckey, and he played in Detroit. I'm from Detroit, so I was like, I couldn't miss that opportunity. And it was wonderful. I mean, it was really, really great, and it was better than what I thought it would be, because one of our Girls on the Rise is a co-host.
Oh my goodness. I mean, talk about the opportunities, right? I mean, we just were uplifting Girls on the Rise, right? And, now this leadership, wing that y'all are doing with it, and bringing some of those girls back now in leadership positions and really training them on what leadership looks like. So I love that this is also open to them, because so often it's about exposure. What you're exposed to is really what you get to the opportunity to realize, like, see yourself in it. I could do this. Okay, here's the hard work and dedication that it takes, but it's not impossible for me. So I love that you have opened it up like that. KD, when we think about the ways that you have progressed in this amazing way, I mean, now, with the TV show, amazing, but also the foundation and really laying a major node here for young women. When you think about the reason why you started it, tell us how that reason is carrying through today.
Yeah, I'm so happy you brought that up. I'm one of 6 children, one of 5 girls that grew up in my house, and I'm one of the babies too, so I saw all of it, right? For me, when I think about Girls on the Rise, that's just what I was born into. You know what I mean? Like, truly, I was the 4th girl, the 4th edition, the 4th Baker girl to come through. And so Girls on the Rise was always important to me. When I was in college, in 2003, I believe, I started a program called Sisters of Success, because I was starting to read more about that glass ceiling, right? And this is all the way back in 2002, 2003. And I'm like, well, hold on. I'm helping some of these guys in my class pass their tests. There's no way you're gonna make more money than me. I'm gonna be honest with you. It all started with the dineros and the green. I'm being really honest with you. And I remember in 2004 we held our first conference at Oakland University in Michigan, and we had about 300 people show up, and half of the room were men. And that's when I knew that it was as important to bring men into this movement as it was for women. And it was so many men. It was black men, white men, Asian men, Indian men. They were all there with us. And they were like, yeah, because I want my wife to make as much money as me. I don't want to be the only one making money. And I plan to have kids one day. What if I have a daughter? So Girls on the Rise is really a repeat of Sisters of Success. And me and my friend Shantae James, I think it's her last name now, she got married, we started Sisters of Success back in 2004. It was a nonprofit, and we went through, I always have to create things from ground up. It wasn't like a traditional club at a college. We started a nonprofit because we wanted to make sure that that nonprofit continued beyond us. And that's the same thing with Katie Hall Foundation. I got a lot of people questioning me the first 5 years, like, why would you name something after yourself? Well, I'm important. I'm somebody. And why can't my legacy live on as well? So even my oldest daughter, I gave her my name. And I told my husband, who knows if we're going to have another girl, but this one's getting my name right here. And we happen to have 2 girls. So he's hoping to get a boy one day. I don't know if it's going to ever happen, but that's his hopes. And I think it's as important for women legacy to live on, through our kids. And if we don't have kids, that's okay. Because there's so many young girls out there that need you, they need me, they need Ashley, as you spoke about earlier as well. And so this is just part of my life work. I don't have a choice, the way I look at it, but to work with young girls. I don't get paid for it. I actually take my salary and I give it back to the foundation every single month because I care about the work that we do that much. And I'm making my money in the business, I'm good. Right. But the foundation is so important to me. We just turned 10 years old. And we appreciate you from bringing Maria on to talk about Girls on the Rise. And something that many people may not know is that we have 30 girls in Nigeria that we've been working with for 4 years. And that work is so important to me. I don't have all the money right now to go and travel back and forth to Nigeria the way that I see it happening in the next few years. But the Nigerian cohort has opened my mind up. It has opened not just my mind up, but our entire board of directors on how we need to teach leadership differently in Nigeria than the way that we do it in the U.S., because it is a difference, right? And we need to be able to amplify those ladies' voices. I love our Nigerian cohort so much. And they were watching last night from Nigeria, right? And it was a night for them. I think it was morning for them, but they were watching from Nigeria. And I can't tell you how much I learned from these young ladies. I know people say I'm teaching them. I'm like, no, I'm learning more than I'm teaching in my mind. But I'm open to learning as well.
Well, the beautiful thing is that when you're open to it, the exchange happens, right? And I read something that said, teachers oftentimes have to be the best students. Because that's really how you connect. And so it's important to always have that good balance, right, of the two. But 10 years and, the Sisters of Success starting and continuing that. I love what you said about women's legacies continuing. And oftentimes, my elders would tell me, make sure that you're capturing your story. That's why I think video work is so important because, in today's age, these videos can live on. I think about Roberta Byrd Barr and her being the first Black woman in TV here in the Pacific Northwest. And I've been able to see a little bit of that. They restore some of the work, but just the idea that the efforts that are in video format can live on. Same with written works, whatever, but media allows for stories to live on. And it's a beautiful thing because there's not a lot of women that were uplifted during the civil rights era. Right. So I think my elders just infused in me, make sure that your efforts that you're pouring into all of these other things that people don't see, that you're remembering that you might need to write a book, you might need to do something. But it's beautiful because when you're told that, it sticks with you. And so I love what you said there about women's legacies continuing, giving your daughter your name. That is often unorthodox for women to do. We see it with men and juniors all the time. But I really, I resonate with that so much. And I'm a boy mom.
I know
right?
You're right with your son.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I got the sons. So I love hearing that. But it's also so true in terms of the men connecting to this movement. As you think about some of the things that you're excited for, moving forward, right? I mean, the efforts of women is felt by all. I mean, the efforts of our people are felt by all. When we pour into it that way. And there's something so special about continuing that understanding. That's from ancient times. That's from like the beginnings of civilization. So I just love everything you were saying here today. I mean, moving forward, the TV show is growing. You're talking about continuing to hear from some folks who were on your first episode. Kudos to you after 19 years of working hard to birth this. I'm so excited for you because we know how hard it is to break into TV. But, you know, when you think about like, wow, it's answering different things for you. What are some of those things that you are feeling now?
I feel great emotion, and I'm not a person that cry a lot at all. I had both of those babies and pushed them out when I was working in the hospital. That's who I am. It's not trying to be a strong woman. I don't necessarily believe in that, but it's just who I am. And yesterday brought complete tears to my eyes because both of my daughters were able to be in the room with us as we were celebrating the pilot of Conversations with Katie Hall. And to others, it might just be, just another talk show. But to me, it's everything. It's everything that I was told that I wasn't. It's me getting my redemption past my federal background. It's me being able to show people who are older than me or younger than me that when you have dreams, you have to go out there and you have to chase them, or they'll chase you. And that's kind of how it happened for me with TV. Like truly, no matter how many times, there's a 10-year window, Trae, that I ran away from TV. I would put my hair back in a bun. I wouldn't wear makeup. I just hated when people would say, well, why are you not on TV? Because it hurt me so hard when people would say that to me. And then after that 10-year window, I started the foundation. And then I had the girls doing all these films, right? And we had nothing. I'm talking about maybe $1,000, $5,000 to do films. And I'm sorry that I'm crying, but it's real. And I can't stop the tears when they're real. We had no money. And when we were able to get 4 Emmy nominations with no money, no network, and being Black too, on top of that, and being a Black woman with other, things that's holding me back a little bit in my mind, right? For us to be able to do that with no money, I said, imagine what we can do when we have a little bit of money and when we have a little bit of support. And that was the real reason with starting the talk show. I've been trying to start it for 10 years, if I could be really transparent with you. But for me, part of my legacy is I have to bring the next generation in. That's the only how things work out for me. That's just part of my story. I've tried by myself, but when I bring that next generation in and I give them voice as well, it blows up for me. And I'm very grateful. And I'm grateful to you, Omari, Besa, Deontay, all of you. I'm grateful for Converge because throughout this entire movement, you guys have truly been there and like just pushing in the background and in the front too. And I can't thank you enough. And what I hope for the future, when I was at Why Not You Academy on Friday, there was more boys in the room than there was girls for a conference that we held. And one of the boys stood up and said, when are you gonna start Boys on the Rise? What about us? There's nothing for boys. And I told him, actually, we are creating it right now. It just can't roll out to 2025, buddy, because we don't got enough money right now. We got other things to do. And I think it's important that boys also have pathways to careers, and especially Black boys. I don't have any sons, but I'm gonna take your sons as my sons and all of my many, many nephews as well. But it's important that we don't forget about our boys, because if we're raising these girls up to be strong and independent and having all this leadership and making all this money and making moves, they have to have men as well to be able to stand beside them, okay? And hey, I'm down with everybody, LGBTQ, whatever, but right now we're talking about that men and women being able to stand together, and I think it's very important. So we are looking to start some type of program. It probably would not be called Boys on the Rise, but we are looking to start a program for young men in 2025 to make sure that we're not leaving any youth behind. Wow. And I'm grateful for that. And you mentioned something earlier. And I just wanted to say that our dash between our birth and our death is the most important time that we have on this earth. So a lot of times people get irritated with me. Like it always seems like you're up to something. You're always moving fast. Well, yeah, I am. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be here. But I tell you this, as long as I am here, I'm going to make impact. That's part of my journey. I'm a legacy woman. And when you find out who you are and what you are, you got to lean into it. I tried not leaning into me being a legacy woman for years, but it's just not who I am. I'm a woman that's creating legacy. I'm always thinking about the future. I'm always thinking about the next thing. And I'm okay now with living in that space.
Katie, I've got chills straight up because not only do I understand.
Yes, you overstand.
What you have gone through to push through these barriers, just so much inspiration. And we need to do a whole special. I'm telling you, right? We need to do a whole special. I knew I was going to feel it today. But I want to make sure that people know how to tap in. You know, when do they see your show and how do they tap into the foundation? Look right there, let them know.
All right. Well, hey, Trae gave me the call to look directly into the camera, so I'm going to do it. You can catch Conversations with Katie Hall on King 5 or King 5 Plus. For my family in New York, Detroit, Vegas, wherever y'all at, y'all can catch us on King 5 Plus. We are airing on Saturdays, and we're airing 2 shows per month. And really our goal is to be able to touch as many people as possible. And the areas that we're covering is women. It's the same as the foundation, women, sports, and mental health. And I can't wait to dive in more with Ashley as well as we're diving in with mental health because it's so very important to us. My Uber driver was just saying to me as we drove in, like, you know what? We have to connect with our bodies. When we connect our minds with our bodies, that's when we become whole. And I believe in that totally. And thank you so much for giving me this platform. I do not take it for granted at all. I appreciate you for the many years you have brought us onto your show. And I thank you, sister, because you have been inspiration to me to let me know that I too can do it. And I'm never too old to be able to jump into the field at almost 42 years old. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Sincerely, thank you. And if y'all can, www.katiehallfoundation.org.
Let's not leave that.
Let's not leave that out.
KD, I mean, this is beautiful. And I'm telling you, the inspiration is overwhelming for me right now because of your story, what you have poured into this. Thank you so much. You know, the Day with Trae is always here for you. Anytime you got an update, we got you. So thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate you.
Wow, y'all. What a phenomenal, inspiring story. Y'all know we're going to continue this inspiration because up next, we got my girl, Ashley McGirt, Adair in the building. Not only a phenomenal therapist, y'all, but also the founder of the Therapy Fund Foundation. Y'all do not want to miss all the great things they have coming up. Stay tuned right after this short break. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Washington's charter public schools prioritize equitable learning opportunities for all students and strive for openness at every level. Teachers work with parents to build a trusting and supportive learning environment for students. To learn more, visit wacharters.org.
Seattle Opera presents the world premiere of Jubilee. Jubilee follows the historic Fisk Jubilee Singers' initial tours following the Civil War. While raising funds for the fledgling Fisk University, the group shared their music around the world, showcasing more than 40 African-American spirituals such as Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Deep River, and Wade in the Water. Jubilee is not to be missed. October 12th through 26th at McCaw Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
Sports has the power to heal, instill leadership principles, and brings community together under a common cause.
My name is Dan Wilson, okay? And I'm here from Seattle, Washington. It's a long way away.
You're in the heart of the South.
I think a lot of the kids that we worked with while we were here had never really played baseball before.
This moment in time highlights our storied history and our need for reconciliation.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is my girl, amazing, phenomenal therapist and foundation founder, y'all, Ashley McGirt. Look, I said both of the names all mixed up. Ashley McGirt Adele. Hi, honey. Hey. You are always doing so many different things when you are here and you are expanding. I want to talk about that because it was first Washington Therapy Fund Foundation, and now you are the Therapy Fund Foundation because y'all are expanding. Tell me more about this.
Yes, so we're in the process of going global because Black mental health matters everywhere around the world. So we're currently working on expanding in California, and we've got some partners in Florida, Georgia, Arizona, Oregon. So hoping to really be all across the United States. And then what I'm really excited about is our newest partnership, which is really going to take us on a global exploration. And we're going to be working with different soccer teams across the African nations, African countries, that we're going to be serving and finding ways to provide mental health services and resources to them across the globe.
Stop it, girl. I mean, you know what? This is the thing, is that you have been a phenomenal speaker. You have been an expert on television series. You have utilized your skill and your knowledge as a therapist to infuse so many different industries. And you didn't stop there. You continue to grow and expand. And now this amazing network of Black therapists who are providing free therapy to those in need is such a huge feat, but also what an honor that you get to help build this. And I never have asked you publicly about how that rests with you. How does that resonate as you're seeing, you know, this thing that you had in your head grow to this amazing feat?
Well, it's really been an honor and a privilege, and it's bigger than me. So there's been some really, really hard days. This is not easy. Building a foundation, especially when you're building something for Black people and you're doing something that's never been done before. You're having conversations about mental health, about wellness, about race and social justice. But how it really resonates with me is when I see the faces of those I've served and they tell me like, hey, you saved my marriage. You saved my family. Because of you, I've been able to learn about my triggers or learn about certain things from my past and be able to move different and live differently. And it's just a beautiful thing to see the manifestation of how we can all heal and really reclaim our wellness, because wellness is our birthright, but it's something that's been taken away from us through colonization and oppression. And being able to see Black people heal and pair up with other culturally responsive clinicians and trained clinicians. So just last year, we funded 16 future Black clinicians with scholarships, because we know the cost of tuition is very expensive. It cost me over $100,000 to get these degrees. So we want to make sure that finances are not a barrier when it comes to getting into this field, doing this work. And also we recognize that therapy is just one tool and one way. So we're also bringing in peer supports and those with lived experiences who are able to do this work, and ensuring that we're training them so that they can navigate and have community healing circles and one-on-one conversations with their peers who've also lived through or been through something that they've been through on this earth, and in a way to where they can walk through and hold their head high and just really shine bright and live the life that they are meant to live.
I mean, come on. Every time we get to talking, I get so pumped up, because it's like you came up with something and I went, oh my gosh, why has no one thought of this, right? Like, just the idea of the need being so huge. And knowing that this is something that can be taken globally, because the need is global. So I love that you are expanding into these new markets. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In the African countries and expanding this awareness. But you also have amazing events that you're doing. You find ways to give back. You brought young people here with you today to make sure that they see this is a part of the work. Is this media blitz you have to do sometimes to get the word out, to make sure folks know how to tap in. Tell us about the importance of that bringing this knowledge to the youth, and how you've been utilizing that as another layer of what you do.
Yeah, so we have youth ambassadors that we train. We teach them about mental health so that they can go into their schools, their communities. They can recognize the signs and symptoms. I mean, we're not teaching them to go out and diagnose and be clinicians, but to have that extra layer, that extra skill to know what to do, not only for themselves, but their peers, their family members, and that they can have these conversations in their homes, because every single one of us us has mental health, and 1 in 5 of us has a mental illness, but we're not having these conversations. We're not talking to the youth about it, but we're talking to them in other ways. We're showing them the negative ramifications of what it means to be stressed out. But if we talk more openly and we say like, hey, I'm having a hard day, and this is what I do to get through those days, and these are the supports that I lean on. It's important for the youth to see that so they can mirror those behaviors, and we're having a conversation back and forth with them. We're training them to be leaders so that hopefully they can also go into this field, or even if they're not in the behavioral health field, they want to go in IT or be an architect or be whatever they want to be in this world, they still have that knowledge about how mental health shows up, about how mental illness shows up, and how they can better show up and improve their communities.
This is important because we talk about this being everyday practices, right? And it really morphs into the ways that we build relationships. So I love that you're bringing it to that level of not only understanding, but to be guided by the choices that you are learning more and more about when you think about mental health. And when you incorporate the ideas of some of the pillars of mental health into your everyday life. So that's a phenomenal other body of work you're bringing to all of this. Y'all have some amazing events coming up. I know I saw the buzz for this year's Reclaiming Wellness. You started this amazing annual gathering last year. Tell us more about Reclaiming Wellness.
So Reclaiming Wellness is a conference to bring in behavioral health clinicians, community members, medical practitioners, doctors, anyone who cares about mental health for communities of color so that we can improve it. So we have 9 different workshops. We bring in licensed clinicians, people in the field who've been with lived experiences, who have the knowledge and the skill sets to help you better work with communities of color. And I'm super excited that this year we have my mentor, Dr. Joy DeGrew, author of Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. She is amazing. We're gonna be having workshops around psychedelics and race-based stress and how you can potentially use psychedelics to heal communities of color around things like racial trauma. We're gonna have a workshop on suicide prevention for Black youth. And we've also got workshops around mental health, maternal mental health for communities of color. And we're still have call proposals that ends this month, March 31st. So if you want to actually present at the workshop, you can write in, apply, and see if your topic is something that you can bring to the community. And it's just extremely important that everyone gets out there. It's also a resource fair, so we have over 40 different vendors who will be there and showcasing the services and the things that they do to improve mental health in our communities.
Well, you know, mental health is, I love that we're having more and more talks about this. You know, when we grew up, for me, it just didn't exist, right? The conversations weren't necessarily there. You knew, okay, some people had a therapist, but it was also rare. And, you know, the idea is that there was all of these other modalities of, you know, understanding our mental health and really working toward a balanced, healthy mental state. Just didn't exist necessarily. Like, you went to church, you prayed, yes, and maybe some people had a therapist, right? And like that was it. That was what was there for us. So I love the fact that we are, you know, have this concentrated effort to shine a light on this work, not only as clinicians, but, you know, you talked about, hey, like sometimes I know that there's other things, and so that lived experience and bringing even some ancient techniques and being able to shine a light on those is really important as well. So I love that you are doing this. You know, just recently you were at the African Center and Ancestral Healing Conference sharing there. And again, it's important that we understand some of those ancient ways that people were healing themselves. So I love that you were speaking from your, you know, of the clinician background, but you also understood the need to also to bring in and pour into that effort.
Absolutely.
But you're everywhere. You got some events coming up. Tell us more about that.
So at the end of this month, March 28th, we are having a conversation on healing colorism in Black families. We're bringing in Dr. Sarah Webb, who is an expert on colorism and what that looks like among communities of color, and really on a global scale, because colorism impacts everyone, whether you're in India, Haiti, DR, and everywhere you go, darker skinned people are treated the worst. So we're really going to talk about what that looks like when we're dealing with the dynamics of families and when you have different colors within your family. My own family, my sister is very light, I'm dark, we're all on a spectrum. So then how does that impact your psychological development? When you may have lighter siblings, darker siblings, a parent that does not reflect your skin color but may look like you. So just we want to have a conversation with that and really help families heal. I remember growing up watching America's Next Top Model, and every dark-skinned person that would come on Tyra Banks' show always had this, woe is me, I'm a dark-skinned woman, I hated my skin tone, I wanted to bleach my skin, and that's not my experience. And I understand that many dark-skinned women, people, trans, non-binary, have had that experience, but I think it's also important to show that not every dark-skinned person hated their skin color. I loved my skin color. I never wanted to bleach it. I loved everything about my blackness, and it could be the fact that I came from a dark-skinned mother who also loved her skin, and just the way that she affirmed, you know, black is beautiful and we are beautiful. And I looked like my mother, and she always spoke very highly. But it hurt me when I would watch those segments, and even on the media, you always hear that story, and you never hear the story of the dark-skinned girl who loved her skin, who didn't want to be white, who didn't want to bleach her skin. So I think it's important that we share those narratives too, and like, hey, that's not the only story. So many of us were born into this world and we were like, listen, I love the glow of my skin. In fact, I want to be darker. I just got back from Barbados, so I am a lot darker right now in this moment. But yeah, so that's one thing that we're doing. We're also going to have a lunch and learn conversation where individuals can come in, have lunch with us, learn about the work that we're doing at the Therapy Fund Foundation. And I'm really excited to share that we have a partnership with Elevate Black Wellness and Momentum. And they just signed a proclamation, and in April 15th to the 19th is officially Black Wellness Week. And so we're going to be having a series of events all about Black mental health, Black wellness, and how we stay well as Black people. And that is the official date. But we know we're not just well during a week, we are well 365. So we're going to do the work so that we can continue to stay well and show up. And we've got a couple other things I can't share fully, but if you stay connected with us, we've got a ton of events. One that I will share is in June, we're going to be having a conversation with Dr. Jennifer Mullen, who wrote Decolonizing Therapy, which is an important conversation that we all need to have about how we can decolonize the mental health practice. Because as you shared earlier at the Africa-Centered Healing Conference, we were talking about those indigenous practices, those things that our ancestors used to heal them, but they're not necessarily recognized through Western medicine, through the psychology or through the practices that I have to utilize under the state of Washington and the other states that I'm licensed in. So it's really important that we embody that, because there's more than one way to heal. It's not just necessarily sitting on a couch, sitting in a chair. We can go out, we could take our shoes off and really ground ourselves in the earth and really look at things like Reiki, acupuncture, other practices, other modalities.
Ashley, I'm so in awe and so inspired. You said folks need to stay tapped in. They need to connect with you. I can't thank you enough for being here. But before I let you go, you got to let them know. How do they connect? Look right there and let the folks know how they do it.
So you can connect with us on most social media platforms at WaTherapy Fund or our website, therapyfundfoundation.org. You can also connect with me directly at Therapy with Ash.
Ashley, I am so honored to always have you here on The Day with Trae. Anytime. You already know it's a welcome right here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Oh, y'all, I told you, these amazing founders of foundations had inspiration to pour in. I'm going to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Sports has the power to heal, instill leadership principles, and brings community together under a common cause.
My name is Dan Wilson, okay? And I'm here from Seattle, Washington. It's a long way away.
You're in the heart of the South.
I think a lot of the kids that we worked with while we were here had never really played baseball before.
This moment in time highlights our storied history and our need for reconciliation.
Here on Back to Besa, it's always been important to me that we uplift stories from across the region and that no matter where you live in the nation, you never have to miss a moment of the show as we continue to highlight the beauty, excellence, and resilience of our communities across the Pacific Northwest. Why? Because representation matters. So no matter where you live, be it the Central District or Centralia, Portland or Pullman, or anywhere across the country, I encourage you to join me on this Back to Besa journey by downloading the free Fox Local app on your phone or smart TV as we continue to elevate the very best in our communities.
Washington's charter public schools prioritize equitable learning opportunities for all students and strive for openness at every level. Teachers work with parents to build a trusting and supportive learning environment for students. To learn more, visit wacharters.org.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Y'all, my cheeks are hurting because I've been smiling so much during this episode. Huge shout out to my guest, KD Hall, and my girl, Ashley McGirt Adair. I'm so excited that both of them, as foundation founders and leaders, came here to not only talk about their foundations, but all of the ways that they are utilizing their energy. You heard KD with her show. Make sure you check that out on King 5 and King 5 Plus if you're not here in the area. And of course with Ashley and all of the amazing work that she is doing to spread mental health awareness and healthiness for all of our communities and focusing on what makes Black people well. I just love it because not only is she doing that with a passion for what started with her clients and her family and herself, but now just expanding it in so many amazing ways. Y'all, for me today, the inspiration is always there, but it's something so special when I see the hard work that others are pouring into their efforts. Lets me know the hard work I'm doing is definitely worth it. And I hope it lets you know the hard work you're doing is worth it. Bring it out to the community so that you too can be a part of the solution, as my guests have shown you that they are today. Of course, for me, y'all, until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.